Microsoft, when you get a minute. Sorry, Microsoft.
All right. Microsoft and Qualcomm.
Zillow.
Qualcomm, Microsoft, Zillow.
And Apple. Please.
Good morning. Can you look at XLY for me, please? Thank you.
Yep, we can take a look at all that.
AMD broke out of that cup and handle. That's what it was.
So as far as Microsoft, without even looking at it on a smaller time frame, we definitely have to get back above 339. You see, this is a very key level on the daily chart. And we had broke below that on Friday. So we definitely need to get back above that 339 for sure. Could be possibly trying to form a flag right here. Maybe. But possibly could be trying to form a flag, but we definitely need to get back above 339 on Microsoft. If it doesn't get above that, then it's probably going to either be choppy or might continue down, maybe, just depending on what SPY does. Qualcomm is one that really does it looks kind of good. I know they have some who was telling me that they had some kind of conferences coming up soon. So right now they just kind of look like they're kind of waiting on a move. Right now, definitely around this 187, 188 area. If it can get above that, get above the all-time high, it can definitely be a great move as far as trading wise. You can see it just kind of been in a range since, I can't see because of this, since November. It's kind of been in a range, which is not a bad thing. Actually, it's a good thing because they gapped up $20 one day and then it continued to run. So they went up $50 very, very fast. So them being in this range is actually a good thing. So I would definitely, what I would do, me personally, I would only look to play this probably above the all-time high. So I would definitely set an alert for like 191.75 maybe, like, before it starts getting close to it.
Yeah, excuse me, RJ.
Yeah.
I'm Qualcomm because I'm on my cell phone right now because I'm driving. So the market is open right now, right?
Right.
Now for Qualcomm, did it go up or did it drop down?
Qualcomm is up on $3 right now.
Oh yes, all right, perfect. Yeah, because I'm on buy a contract today for sure. So that's great because I've been looking at the chart and I see that it's definitely it should purchase calls. You know what I mean? And it's doing pretty good. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. They definitely look good, especially if they can get above that 187.22, somewhere around there. They definitely will be looking really good then. Let's see. Got Facebook. Is that a bull flag on the one day? Yep, yes it is. That's a bull flag. It's a good job spotting that. Apple affirmed, Nvidia, AMD. Right.
Bull flag right now in 1 minute.
Pull them more. Okay, so AMD is looking. Yeah, AMD is looking
Apple is
pretty
moving
good
right now.
Got AMD and Apple moving. See.
This is weird, bro. The market spies ass, but the market stocks are moving us under it, and that shit doesn't make sense.
I got a weekly on Apple. I'm up 30% at and it's at 180. Do you think I should let it go right now, or can it see more highs?
Okay, so this is the thing on Apple, right? So Apple's up $2, but I'm gonna actually bring Apple to the big screen because this is when it gets kind of tricky. So if we look at Apple, you see Apple looks really good on the 1 minute, but if we look at it on the 4 hour, Apple is actually breaking out of this bull flag that we was talking about on Thursday and Friday that it was in. So and it's $2 away from the all-time high. So it looks really good. Apple actually looks really good to continue upward, but like I always say, you have to always be aware of what your indexes are doing. And just as of right now, our indexes are still in a range. So Apple could easily get, pushed back down or start being very choppy because of the index. So you have a weekly. Oh man, that's a tough call. That's a tough call. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. I really don't know. Did Apple have some news or something today? They up quite a bit very early.
Nah, news. I was just watching the last week with that flag and just was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take my shot. For last week, I put in a week for, I put in the call for this week.
Right.
I will say that they've been releasing news about different product lineups. And I think people are just in general excitement about the product lineups, but nothing like major.
Okay. She got some new product lineups, but nothing really major. So that kind of has me like, as well, because they didn't really have news, but they are running quite a bit. So let me see if I see anything.
If you would have purchased monthly or at least 3 weeks out on Apple, you'll be really good because it is in an uptrend.
Yeah. If you have like next week or at least 2 weeks out minimum, you're perfectly fine on Apple. But since you got a weekly, man, that's tough. That's tough. I don't know. Even though I'm saying I have no idea what to do with that right now.
Well, I'd rather keep the percent, so I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah,
I would say 5-10%, brother. You'll be good.
Yeah, you're never wrong for taking profits for sure. Yeah, you say take profits when available. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is very true. Yeah, but Apple does look good in my opinion. You got I remember someone had like, was it January 7th, I want to say, or January 21st on Apple? They asked about last week. You definitely, if you're still holding that, you definitely want to hold it right now. It's still looking pretty good on the larger time frames. Seeing some people ask about NVIDIA. So we already had our levels plotted, from the previous sessions. And, these levels are the same levels on the way up and the way down. So you just kind of see, you can really just use the same levels that we've been using. You see, they've been respecting these levels pretty much for the most part. But as of right now, this is actually setting up a potential entry, possibly. It's a flag pattern right here. And see the run up. You see the volume on the run up. You see, this is exactly what you like to see. Like whenever it's forming a pattern inside the pattern, you want to see the volume kind of die down. So that's what you're seeing right now. So what you're looking to see is you're looking out for volume to increase when it's trying to push out of this flag. But you have to be very careful as well, because it can push out of the flag right here, but we still have to get above this key level. So that makes it a little bit tricky. So what I like to do whenever I have, a breakout right beside a key level like this, I like to take it over the high of day. So I would let it break out right here. But if I see it breaking over the high of day, which is 307.11, if I see it breaking over that with good volume, that's what I would use as my entry, just because the break of the flag and the key level are so close together. So hope that kind of makes sense.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Yep. So with NVIDIA, you got the bull flag right here, but it brings up a tough situation because you have the break of the bull flag, right here around this 306.25 area, somewhere around there. But the problem is you have a key level resistance right here at 306.65. So you could enter this right here and get rejected right here. Everything could look good at this point and get to this point and get rejected because this is a key level. So you have a pattern right beside a key level. So what I would do here, my plan would be to enter it over the high of day if it still has that volume.
Got it.
Does that kind of make sense? I know that's a lot, but
No, it makes sense. Make a ton of sense, because
okay.
that's going to be a resistance. It's close to resistance.
Right.
307.11. Yeah, got you.
Yep. You just want to be a little bit safer when it's really close like this.
Make a ton of sense. I got it.
Let's see. Went over NVIDIA. We got 4. I see 4 in Visa. I'm gonna set an alert on this. I had a few alerts go off this morning, but let's see. And NVIDIA is one that moves kind of quick, so I would probably set mine for like 306.5 maybe. And even that could be too late sometimes on NVIDIA. So
how would you look at it from a swing standpoint? Because I'm not going to be somebody who's like going to have the time to, because you're on a 1 minute chart, aren't you?
yeah, so swing standpoint, I got quite a bit of stuff on here, but if I can drag it out. Swing standpoint, I really wouldn't look to get back in the swing on it until it gets above this 313.5. That's what I got rejected at last time.
I got you.
Yep, that 313.5 resistance. So definitely above that, I would hop back in the swing. So you still got, quite a bit away from there, about $10.
Okay, cool. It's still quite a bit away from that all-time high too.
Coin just alert.
Coin. All right, we'll look at coin right after we look at ELF and Facebook. So this is kind of interesting. Ford is definitely kind of interesting because it kind of has two things going on a little bit. So you have a range right here that we've been in since November. This around this 20.51 to 18.98 range that we've been kind of sticking to for the most part. But now we've not only broken out of the range, but kind of broken out of this little pennant pattern as well. And even if you don't really see the pennant, there's definitely a small flag right here. So Ford looks good. You know, Ford is gonna kind of move the way that Neo moves, and Tesla, all of them kind of move together. So I would definitely watch Ford. Ford could be moving up this week if Neo and Tesla continue. So I like Ford this week. Say NQ pushing down. Let's see, I think I'm missing. I think someone asked about XLY, I believe. Yeah, I actually don't have this one charted. I don't really watch this, but you just kind of see if I see anything real quick. So just around this area right now, you want it to hold this 206 for sure. It gapped up. Was this $2, $3? So you definitely wanted to hold this 206 area because this is the closest key level to it that it's at right now. But as far as upside targets, you have, it actually might have hit the next resistance today or very close to it. So you kind of see this 208 around 208.95, 209 at 1, 2, 3, 4 touches right here. Today made 4 touches. So it needs to hold 206, but to continue upward, it could continue upward, it could gap up again, honestly. But definitely above 209, you'll probably see the next run up on this. Let's see, coin. Try to zoom in here.
Quick question, RJ. What would you say would be the best time to jump into a position? As soon as the market opens, or 30 minutes after the market, an hour after the market?
So that would that's kind of tough question. I would say that first depends on, you know, how risky you are. So the riskiest times to hop into the market is 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes at open. The earlier, you know, of course, the earlier you get in, the more risky it is, just because it's so much volume very early. What I like to do, I don't really like to get in like right at open. My thing is I kind of like to see what a stock is gonna do first. So but that really for me that kind of differs because I am a bit more risky. So what I really like to do, I like to see, you know, find out where my key level is, and if it gets above that level, I don't want to chase it if it's still like 5 minutes into the market open, but I'm going to let it kind of run, and I'm gonna see if it's going to pull back and form a pattern. So it could form that pattern 7 minutes into the market open, and you know, if I see the opportunity present itself, I'm gonna take it. So that time kind of varies for me, but usually it's safer to kind of wait, you know, until about 10 o'clock, 10:30 to start entering positions. But a lot of times the move has happened by then, especially if you want to day trade stuff. So I don't know, it differs for sure.
So it's definitely more specific when we're talking about people that are scalping and day trading, right?
Yeah, scalping and day trading, yeah, the best times is definitely before 10:30 for sure. I don't advise getting in right at open, but definitely I would say if you want to scalp, I would say give it a few minutes, just because just getting in at open is just so risky. I would definitely advise waiting at least 5 minutes, even if you are trying to scalp.
Now, if I'm buying weeklies and I'm buying monthlies, does that same rule apply?
Yeah, I say if you buying monthlies, then you're not in a rush at all. So if you buying like monthlies and stuff like that, then I don't see a problem with you, waiting until about 10:30. Especially if you got that much time on it, then you're not in a rush at all. So I don't see why they would be getting in super early like that anyway.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see, I think Visa. I see Visa in the chat. Visa is one that I kind of been watching lately, because Visa can have a really good move if we can get above this 219.75. So if we look right here around this, if we look at the daily chart, you can kind of see above this point. Definitely could start seeing some movement upward. I'm trying to see where the next level would be. Look like that's about 222, around 222, close to 223. So that's a pretty good move right there. So definitely above this 219.75. I definitely wouldn't mind hopping in a swing for Visa myself, honestly. So around that 220, I really like it above that. Do I take live trades at all? Yeah, I do take live trades, but I just haven't seen anything that I was really liking this morning. I like Neo, but they had faded. So I didn't want to chase it early and they just faded. So I mean, besides that, I really didn't see anything else that I really wanted to take early. And then, like I said, I just been trying to be very cautious with getting in to many stocks, that especially that's in a spot. But you see actually while we was talking, we actually had broke down. See, we was all the way up here at 477, and we just switched direction, and we came all the way down here to 473. So one, I hope somebody caught that drop under that level that we was talking about. That was a very quick drop. That was a good scalp right there. If he was able to catch that, I would have got into that if I would have seen it. I didn't even know we dropped that low. But yeah. So now on SPY, we kind of looking a little bit bearish. We could push right back into the zone, but we may break to the downside, unfortunately. Okay, so change it to can't really make this one perfect, but small accounts, this is definitely one I'll be watching. Brad been talking about it. Brad and Sean been talking about X, which is steel, United States Steel, and they look really good, especially on the larger time frames. I'm gonna remove this right here. See, it's right around that relative high point that we really need to push above at 24.11. You see resistance right here, resistance here, adding that support right here, adding that resistance here. Yeah, if it closes above this 24.11, which it probably will, honestly, a swing on this would definitely probably be profitable this week, honestly. Because the last time that we were able to close above 24.11 was right here on November the 26th. So it's been a while since we've been able to close above this key level. So just watch out for that. I wouldn't just keep my eye on it. I would just watch, kind of see what it's doing at about 2, 3 o'clock, to kind of gauge, see what it's gonna do as far as where it closes at. Is there a way to prevent micro levels from showing up on the daily chart? On Thinkorswim, it gets hard to see the candles on the daily sometimes. Yeah, so one thing that see, it's tough because the price levels are going to show up on every time frame regardless. But I would say a good way to minimize how many lines you have is kind of, it can be a bit more risky, but I would say it's like taking only the most prominent levels, if that makes sense. So by that, I mean, you could come through here all day and find, places where it's touching twice, but minimizing the amount of levels that you have could be like, okay, I only want to plot where it touches 3 to 4 times, and that could minimize a lot of lines. So I would say kind of taking only the strongest levels, if that makes sense. That's a way to minimize it. But besides that, it's kind of hard to not see them unless you color code. That's another thing you can do, is you could color code your price levels. That's what I definitely used to like to do a lot. So if I was to make a price level on the weekly, I would have it a different color than my price level on the daily or the 4 hour. And that kind of can keep it, neater as well. But those two are things that you could do possibly. Okay. And if we look at Apple is still up. They did dip, but pushed upward. So that's actually a really good sign. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all this, but I'm not advising to do this. This is just what I do. So Visa's up. All right, we're gonna look at Visa in just a second. So, like I said, I am risky. So these are my type of setups that I like to get 0 days, or not necessarily 0 days, but I would say weeklies. These are my type of setups that I would like to get weekly contracts on. Only these setups that are very high probability, but it makes it more risky because of SPY. Keep that in mind. But what I'm seeing right here and what I'm thinking about is Apple all-time high is 182.13. Right now, we had a bull flag that we broke out of, and right now we're at 181.14. And the bull flag has broken out on the daily chart, right? So if something breaks out on the daily, this means that the breakout could happen for possibly, keep in mind this word possibly, could possibly happen for a few days, or it could keep going all week long. Who knows? So seeing that, and seeing that we're only $1 away from the all-time high, I'm thinking, I'm looking like, well, there might be some opportunity, because if Apple can get above 182, then I start thinking about, well, can it go to 185? And if it can go to 185, how much are the contracts? So looking at Apple's contracts right now, I'm looking at it on my phone. A 185 call is $83. So I don't advise, I'm not telling you to do it, but it's a okay looking setup, but SPY makes it very risky. So I'm not gonna say whether to do it or not, but these are the type of plays that I look for when I swing weeklies. You only want to take the best kind of setups because pullbacks on your weeklies are gonna kill you. Like if this pulls back and retests this 180, your contract probably gonna be down at least 20% on minimum. Probably gonna be more than that. But just looking at the potential for it, that's kind of what you have to look at on your weeklies. You're looking at the potential of what it could do. So that's not something that you want to put the house on, but you know, that's kind of what I look for when I'm trying to swing weeklies. That's kind of my thought process about it. But it is still very early. It's only 10 o'clock, so I'll definitely be looking at it, around 1, 2, probably a little bit before that to kind of decide if I'm going to swing some weeklies on it. But this is definitely my type of setup that I would like to swing weeklies on for sure. And we're going over a lot of stuff. So if y'all got questions about anything, definitely drop it in the chat. If something doesn't make sense, definitely let me know. I don't have no problem going over it or explaining it in more detail.
Yeah, I had 3 contracts. I sold 2 of them. I said, I'm gonna leave that last one and see where it's gonna run with the Apple.
Yep, man, that's the perfect thing to do. I'm not even gonna lie to you because right now we are less than $1 away from all-time high. So you already sold 2 of them for good profit. I would let that one kind of run, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, for sure.
I have one question in reference to what you just said about Apple. So what would be your final confirmation to say, okay, it is time for me to go ahead and get this contract?
Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting in now, but the confirmation that would be like, yeah, is definitely possibly go time is the cross above this all-time high. Definitely if it closes, above this 182.13, that is like my for sure, like, yeah, I'm gonna take my chance on this. So a close above 182.13 is my definite, like, for sure need to get in. Just for the possibility of it to keep running.
Gotcha.
See people talking about Roku.
That 10 o'clock reversal did its thing.
For real.
That shit weird though. That shit took off.
So Roku, we still just in this range. I'm not interested in it until it gets above 245.5. But to the downside, looks like it needs to break 221, which is still kind of far away from. That's on a larger time frame perspective, but on a smaller time frame perspective, as we less than a minute right now, but on a smaller time frame perspective, yeah, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take puts on it right now, just because we're kind of far away, and it's quite a few places it could bounce, honestly.